So God says he requires it from us because we love him and we trust him. Can we love God and not tithe? Of course. But we can't trust him. We don't trust God. We trust ourselves. We trust our own hands. I had to learn that I can't trust what I do. I'm a very gifted young man, but I'm not gifted enough to make it in life. I need God to help me. I've chased my own tail like my dog will do sometimes, go around and around and around and around and around and around and around, and then fall out. That's what we do. We go around and around and around in a marriage. 20 years and then we fall out. We go around and around and around with drugs. And 10 years and we fall out. We go around and around and around with temptation until we fall out. We go around and around and around and fail in relationships. We go around and around and around as single people and fail, chasing our tail, trying to do it ourselves instead of sitting down and saying, God, give me the person you want me to have. God, if I'm going to be delivered, you'll deliver me. If I'm going to be blessed, God, you're going to bless me. I'm saying, God, how are we going to do what we're going to do next? We have finished this whole building. We're busting out the seams. How are we going to do it? It's going to cost millions of dollars to do what we got to do. I don't know or care how. I just know God is going to do it. My God shall meet all of my needs according to his riches. All I got to do is seek the kingdom and its righteousness. Do you know God counted Abraham a righteous man because of his faith? He counted Abraham righteous because of his faith. So when you tithe, you're saying, God, I have faith in you. I have faith in you. Where your treasure is, that's where your heart really is. So if my treasure is in temporal things or carnal things, that's where my heart really is. The safest place is in the will of God. Don't leave where I put you. Don't stop believing God. See, some of you got to understand less is more. Don't leave where God's got you at. Don't leave where he have you right now. Believe God right now. You may be in the point in your life where it's tough and you want to go back to your old ways. You may be in a recession and you're saying, I lost my job and it's been a year and I know how to get my money. I'm going back to the street, dog. I'm going back. Some of you ladies may say, I'm going to do what I got to do. Y'all say what you want to, but I know how to get my bills paid. No, don't leave where God have you. God said, Isaac, just like I told your daddy, don't you leave. If you stay where I put you at, I'm going to make you prosper right where you are. And I'm going to make your enemies your footstools. I'm going to make the people who hated on you have to eat their words. I'm going to make the people who looked at you and said, you'll never make it. It'll never work. It'll never happen. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not pretty enough. You don't have enough experience. I'm going to make them all have to understand that I'm God that can do anything but fail. If you just stay where I put you. Somebody said the safest place. I know Twanky, she's singing well. She said the safest place in the whole wide world is in the will of God. If you just stay where God has you, if you'll just believe God, if you'll just hold on to your faith, God will prosper you right where you are. You touch your neighbor's eyes, you understand when I have God, I have more than what I need. Oh, come on, somebody. I'm telling you, I started the church with 12 people and $1,200 in the lunchroom, but I looked at my hands and I said, God, I call into my hands finances based on seeds I've already sown. I say, God, I call people to the chairs. Fill them up. So we put 50 chairs out. They filled up. We put 20 more out. They filled up. I say, God, you showing out. Put 150 chairs out. They filled up. Put 500 out. They filled up. Now we're going to put 2,000 or 3,000 out. And they going to fill up. You want to know why? Because I believe if I stay in the will of God, even though I have less is more with God, because I don't walk by sight, I walk by faith, and when I got faith, I have more than what I see in the natural. Does that make sense? You can't look at the natural. You can't look at what you have right in front of you. You got to understand there's another world that's more significant than the world that you see. The world that you see right now is created by the world that you can't see. Woo-wee! Yes, sir. There's a world that has more power than the world you can see right now. That's the spiritual world. And I want you to understand everything that God wants you to have in the spirit is already done. He has authored and he's finished it already in the spirit. But you got to know how to see. Look at somebody and say, you got to know how to see. Can you see yourself the way God sees you? Come on, y'all ain't talking. Y'all ain't talking. Can you see yourself the way God sees you? Can you see yourself the way God sees you? Can you believe in yourself the way God believes in you? Can you believe that God can make it happen even though you don't see it right here? But you know God's going to manifest it. I remember I used to go and pray and I'd see y'all. Just like now I'm seeing the thousands more coming. I'm praying and I'm seeing them. I see the new facility. I see the schools that we control and we run. I see it right now. Come on, somebody. I see you being blessed bigger than what you ever believed in your life. I see you being blessed beyond your education. I see you being blessed beyond your degree. I see your husband saved. I see your kids saved. I see your family blessed. It may not look like it right now, but I see it. I dare you to slap another neighbor and tell a neighbor, just dig another well. The Philistines covered that one back up, but just dig another well. I dare you to slap a neighbor and tell them storms may rage and winds may blow. But I'm going to keep on digging, because sooner or later I'm going to strike oil. And sooner or later I'm going to strike water. And God's going to say, this is where I told you I'll bless you. This is the way I told you I'll make a way in your life. When less is more. Anybody in this room right now that want to have uninterrupted blessings from God? I'm tired of going up and down, in and out. But I'm ready to have an unhindered flow. There's always flow in the kingdom. You know why they call money flow? You know why people say, I got flow, I got money? Because there's always currency in the kingdom. You just got to keep on digging till you strike it. And when you strike it, you'll always be in an uninhibited, uninterrupted flow. But you got to do something to get something. I dare you to touch somebody and tell them you got to do something to get something from God. God will create space for you. See, when God tells you to go somewhere and God tells you to do something, he will create space. We're riding up and down the street looking for land now. We're looking and trying to see what we're going to do to expand, because we can't build nothing else. We finished this whole building. Now we're looking. We understand God's planted us here. And God, if you planted us here, you're going to create space that we need. Just like when we needed to build and leave the lunchroom, they had people in the business in here. And the man said, shh, don't say nothing, because we about to put them out. Let me tell you something. When it's your turn, God will move. He'll move stuff out of your way. He'll move people out of your way to get you in position. But you just need to stay in the will of God. You got to stay in the will of God. It's when you ask God,